A journey of resilience, public service, and community development. How does a man overcome homelessness to become a leading figure in local government in the United States and a beacon of hope? My guest is the first Black Commissioner of Tamarack and Senior Pastor Marlon D. Bolton. I'm Archibald Gordon. This is Profile. Commissioner Marlon Bolton, welcome to Profile.
Thank you so very much for having me.
It's absolutely our pleasure, especially given this very, very distinguished resume. And for the viewers who may not be as familiar with your work and your journey and your story, I want to share some of it with them. So, City Commissioner of Tamarack, first elected in 2016 and the first Black commissioner in Tamarack's history. And Tamarack is a city in Broward County, Florida. It's part of the Miami metropolitan area, generally speaking. Re-elected in 2020, by the way, with 74% of the votes. You are vice mayor of Tamarack before. You are certified county court mediator for the Florida Supreme Court. You are were also a Broward County teen court judge, also communications director at Broward County government. Senior pastor at Praise Experience Church, which you founded in 2014, and founder of the Project Jamaica initiative, also married with a son. So that's a whole lot of words and career highlights there. And just some of them, by the way, I said career highlights. And when I look at you, I see someone who, and you admitted earlier, is very, very young. When you listen to this kind of resume, what do you think?
I think that I've accomplished a lot and I've grown up faster than the normal person, but I thank God. I thank God for allowing me to be a part of this journey. I think that He created me for a reason. Destiny would have it that I'm here. So very grateful.
At the beginning, perhaps it did not necessarily seem like this would be where it would end up, because when you speak of a journey, that's a journey that started right here in Jamaica.
Yes.
Born in Spaldings.
Yes.
Sort of Manchester-Clarendon border, but grew up in Christiana. Let's talk a little bit about that life growing up.
Yeah, so I grew up in Christiana, a little community outside of Christiana called Coleyville. So there would
literally because it was very cold.
Exactly, right? You'd have to wear a jacket in the nighttime. Born at Percy Junior Hospital in Spaldings, went to Bryce Primary, and then Christiana High School. Right after high school, decided I was going to leave my parents' house. Applied for my own birth certificate, applied for my own passport. Had my mother sign off on what she needed to sign off on, and moved to Kingston for about 6 months. Started a career in fashion, started scouting models, that sort of stuff. In 2003, went to the US for the very first time on a single entry visa, came back, went back to the embassy, got another single entry visa, fell in love with the United States. First trip was to New York, second trip was to Miami. So I thought, where would I want to live? And came back after that second single entry visa, got a 10-year visa, and then decided, this is it. I am going to move to the United States. I went to Christiana Library, went on the internet, and searched out where to live in Florida.
Why did you pick Florida?
Florida was it's a tropical nature of the town. I mean, I went to New York and it was cold. I mean, that December was snowing. I couldn't do that. I mean, lots of people do it. Hats off to them. But, Florida feels like Jamaica. And so, I just decided to move to Florida.
This was a decision you were making. Where were your parents in all of this? Did they support the idea?
Listen, my mother and my father, when I told them that I was moving to the U.S., they just gave me a blank stare and said, okay. They never fought me on the idea. My father seemed like he had a little reservation. He asked me, so where you going? You know, that sort of stuff. Kind of a little bit concerned, but I was very mature from earlier on. Started a business at 13, doing entertainment and singing and dancing and all that stuff.
Where does all of that come from? How is that linked to your parents themselves?
My mother can sing. My mother was also a dressmaker, so she had that fashion inside of her. My father was a farmer, and of course he would preach when the pastor is not present in the church. So I kind of, enjoyed that time with my parents. So,
and a big family as well.
Big family, 13 children. That's my journey. I went on the internet looking for places to live. Went on a website called Craigslist, and there was a guy on Craigslist offering a room for rent. He asked for $600 for the first month, representing the first month's rent and a $300 security deposit. So I sent it to him. Went to Miami and showed up to the place, and a lady opened the door and said, "Young man, you've been scammed.
Wow.
You are probably the 20th person that has come to this door. There is no room for rent here. You cannot stay here. Don't ask." And so I became homeless.
What did you do?
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, find some job opportunities and so forth, and then I'll come back after maybe 6 months or so. So I booked my return ticket for about 3 weeks after. When the lady told me that I could not stay, that I was scammed, I slept under a bridge, 5th Street Bridge, close to Alton Road, for those people who travel a lot, so they know that intersection. Very dangerous. Slept under the bridge for 3 days, had $32 to my name, walked from 5th Street all the way to Lincoln Road, and I would walk up and down Lincoln Road just to burn time every single day.
I want to talk a little bit about how you are processing all of this, because you're saying it now with a smile on your face,
yeah,
partly because you've overcome all of that.
Yes.
But I want to sort of delve into what you were thinking at the time. But we have to take our first break on Profile. My guest is Marlon D. Bolton. He's the first Black commissioner of Tarmac, Florida, and his inspiring journey from Jamaica to the United States has led him to become a pillar of public service and community development. Stick around. We're back with you after these messages.